G'day guys. So I'm actually just getting ready to fully do the video for the cottage pie with Miss Maisie's help. But realised that I'd forgotten to cook off the potato first. So I've been planning to do a video about this for a little while, so I thought I'd get around to it now on kind of food safety and some of those myths and why do we kind of worry about certain things while ignoring others. One of the more common ones I guess I come across is, how long can food sit out for? Can we microwave to defrost? Can I defrost on a bench? Is pizza that I left out last night when I got drunk still okay for me for breakfast? Yes, but no on the last one. You're taking your life in your own hands there. We've all done it. The reality, I guess, of food safety is to remember a little bit of the science behind it. So bacteria forms over time. We know this one. So the longer you leave something between that 5 and 65 degrees, which is kind of that temperature they like to grow, the further towards either side. So if you're getting towards that sort of 36, 37 degrees, you're almost at that perfect temp for it. So, the longer it sits at that temp, the more bacteria grows. Now, to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the bacteria actually, as it grows, it technically poops, like a bit of term, it sort of exudes, and that is what becomes toxic. So you can't then cook the bacteria out of it because it's not so much the bacteria in its own right that makes you sick, it's kind of the offshoot of having the bacteria in there, kind of what they leave behind. You cannot kill those toxins with heat. They are still part of the food. So that's why, you can get away with it. But the old should be right, just heat it up and it'll get to the right temperature and everything will die. Bacteria will die, sure. The toxins they leave behind won't. And that's what's going to make you sick. Very simplified version, but so a couple of general rules, guys. Keep things under 5 degrees where you can. I mean, obviously I've got things out on the bench here. They're going to sit up for probably about half an hour while I do this this potato, but you've got a lifespan. 4 hours is typically the general rule, but after 4 hours it's going in the bin. So it's a 2 hour, 4 hour rule. It can be out for 2 hours and go back in the fridge, but then it's only got a 2 hour lifespan when it comes out the next time. After 4 hours, you throw it in the bin. That's the general rule within hospitality, and if you're actually serving it to people. Now, it's a fairly safe rule to run into at home as well. We probably shouldn't be leaving steak on the bench for 6 hours in 30-degree heat. You're not going to feel great after eating that. Or if you're like some people I know with iron guts, it's not going to fuss you. It also, food safety comes down to cross-contamination as well. So, say for example, you're doing chicken and ham. I know it's going to sound an odd combo, actually no, it makes an amazing sandwich, but chicken and ham, right? So, you use the same board, chicken goes in, gets cooked, you chop up your ham goes in the fridge. What happens then is all that bacteria growing up from that raw chicken sits on that ham, sits in that fridge, your ham's in there for 4 or 5 days, the bacteria grows, you end up with salmonella, and if you're really, really lucky, listeria as well. So this is why cross-contamination is such a big issue, because while we think we're not doing anything particularly wrong, we are transferring potential bacteria from one thing to another, which is why, there's the old coloured boards idea within kitchens, although that's been somewhat debunked. Realistically, the main issue we need to worry about is, don't mix raw meats with ready-to-cook foods, so things like ham or salads and that sort of stuff. If you're going to cut something up that's, leaving a mess behind, wash it and then do your next ingredient. Don't grab your same knife from, say, cut up some meat earlier and then go and cut up your potatoes. It's that simple sort of stuff. As far as defrosting and using a microwave, the big one to think about there is when you defrost in the microwave, you are actually partially cooking it, okay? That's why generally they say if you're going to defrost it, cook it straight in the microwave, cook it straight away. Otherwise, pull it out the night before, sit it in the fridge on a plate and let it defrost overnight in there. That is genuinely the safest way. Underwater, I know some people used to like using hot water, and look, in a pinch, we've done it. There's all sorts of different ways, but the general rule is that the outside of whatever you're defrosting is going to defrost first. So say you sit it on the bench for 6 hours. that outside layer is going to defrost pretty damn quick. What it means is the outside of that has sat in that danger zone temperature for 6 hours to get the inside to a temperature you can cook with. Does that make sense? When it comes to washing hands and stuff, guys, washing up to here. So kind of right up your arm, as far as you can go almost. Any good soap will typically do. Give your fingernails a bit of a scrub. Actually cleaning stuff, soap. Just a bit of spray and wipe on a bench, and all you're doing, literally, is spreading bacteria across the bench. Get a little bit of soapy water and wipe the whole lot away, okay? I see that way too often. And look, I will sometimes do it for, here and there, but don't make it your general way of cleaning. If you can, just give them a little wash down every now and then. You don't need to use a ton of water, but you need to be kind of getting a bit of water in there and then wiping the whole lot away. All right? As far as things like pork, we can now eat rare. Absolutely. The bacteria that was making people sick hasn't been seen in Australia for, I think I was reading 15 odd years now. It's considered basically a non-issue now. So if you see a little bit of rare pork here and there, don't panic. Perfectly safe. As far as things like chicken, get it up to that 60, 65 degrees. Do not play around with it. Chicken butter. Beef, love red beef. You can almost eat beef raw, things like beef tartare and the like. But you got to be super careful about how fresh it is and all that sort of stuff, because you're not using heat to kill the bacteria. So if you think say your steak's a bit suspect, I mean, personally, bin it. Otherwise, cook it most of the way through. A lot of people throw out a lot of foods that I feel they probably don't need to, okay? Things like ham, okay? Open it up, it looks a touch slimy. Does it smell okay? Does it actually taste okay? It's probably okay. 5 to 7 days, most things will last in the fridge. So a lot of people seem to think you go and buy a roast chook from the shops, and it's already cooked, and you've only got about 2 days or it's going to go bad. Not really. 5 to 7 days, a lot of things will last. Now that's in a fridge, having come from heat, being cooled quickly and into the fridge. Not come home, sat around the dinner table while you all ate it, and then 4 hours later it goes in the fridge. No, that's probably not going to be great. But too many people waste food because they don't check it. The general safest rule, particularly at home, I am a little bit more fastidious obviously in a commercial environment, but does it smell okay? Doesn't smell sour, doesn't smell like alcohol, doesn't have any kind of real funky odor to it. Does it look okay? So there's no big green bits and nothing growing there, nothing calling you, papa, mama, they haven't created life. Check. Does it taste okay? It's not going to kill you if it looks okay and smells okay. Don't taste it first. Looks okay, smells okay. Have a little taste. Does it taste sour, salty, sweet, sticky, like any sort of those off flavors? Toss it. If not, it is safe to use, okay? Unless you have a reason to think otherwise, i.e. been left down on the bench for 4 or 5 hours. All right, guys, I'm gonna get some potatoes on, and then I will get Miss Maisie to help me cook a cottage pie. If I can ever get her to hold onto a carrot. Speak soon.